And then we get our continuation model footprint here, closing, you know, outside of this band. Then I can look to take a short here. This would be a possible short here. 30 negative. I kind of like a short here. Let's see. I like this short play here on the NQ. All right, I'm in. Stop right above the candle right there. That looks good. Break of a low right here. I like it. See if we get some follow through here. Come on, NQ, don't fall asleep on me here. Let's go. About 10 points in the money, maybe 13. Come on, give me a push here. Don't really like that candle too much. Not seeing a lot of positive delta here yet, so nothing to be concerned about here yet. Just kind of makes sense here to sweep this low right here. About 16 points there of in the money. Come on, NQ, don't fall asleep here. Definitely don't wake up to the buyers here. Come on, Bears. Make a push here. Not a huge fan of the seesawing. I like my trades to come to resolution pretty quick. Nothing super strong on the delta there. Let's see. Just don't want to see a sweep here and then make my move. Let's go. Don't make the sweep here. Kind of caught the market here sleeping here. Looks like the bears finally come on, wake up here a little bit. All right, so now some positive delta coming in. So that's not a good sign for me. Not a good sign at all. Most likely a sweep here now. Seems like our entry is our support resistant line. Come on. Give me one push here. Take it down, bears. Take it. Take it, bears. Come on. One little small push here. We're going into some resistance right here. Let's go. Breakthrough. Nice. Okay, let's go. Let's go. They just broke through some resistance. Let's go to target. Nice. Let's go. Let's freaking go. Let's go. Chump sauce past it. Let's go. I told you, buddy. I told you. Hey everyone, it's Trader Rob. Today is Thursday, February 12th. Just had a fantastic morning session here on YouTube with all of my Signal members and everyone here on YouTube. I was super happy that got a lot of really great positive news from a lot of my viewers and some of my Signal members. Many people passed, finally got their funded accounts passed. A few people were in the locked in payouts on their funded accounts, which again is great to hear. Personally, I just had a fantastic morning of trades. Stayed really patient today. Yeah, obviously we had a pretty strong dump there on the NQ, but prior to the dump, I waited pretty patiently both on the ES, which I took a really nice trade on, and on the NQ, took a nice 30-point winner as well on that one to bring my P&L for the day at about 3,000. It's about 3,100 bucks, and felt great. And I will say one thing: I increased my position sizing starting, I believe, yesterday. So small increase, but I just want to kind of talk about that because that sometimes can cause a big issue with a lot of traders, especially depending on where you're currently at in your trading journey. Some people typically like to oversize in the beginning, and then they realize, okay, maybe I got to scale down a little bit to kind of survive this game, especially in the learning stages. For me, I kind of scale in and out, or I should say position size up or down, depending on what the market is giving us and how my overall read on the markets have been. So, and for instance, November, I had a fantastic month. It was probably my record month trading. And then December turned out to be an extremely ugly month. Well, I, of course, sized up my positioning starting in November and starting in December. But I quickly realized that the market conditions in December were poor. Were just not fitting what I like to see in the markets. Starting in the first week and a half of January, when we had the contract rollovers, I was at probably my lowest position size that I have traded in a very, very long time. But what it helped me do was it helped me to have confidence in taking the setups that I want to take. You never want to have a fear of taking a setup just because of a loss or because your account can't withstand that type of a loss. And that's as a trader, you'll pick that up eventually with experience. But it's a pretty smart lesson because, once you start seeing that your setups are working and that you're reading the markets, the way I read the markets is with volume. And if I see that price action is respecting the areas that I consider to be unbalanced volume, and I can continuously see that, then I understand that at that point, I have to capitalize on what the market is giving me. I need to decapitalize in the areas that the market is not working in my favor, and I have to size up in the times where the market is reacting really well. Same thing with gold. Gold is actually a perfect example. Was having a phenomenal reads on gold for a good 6 to 7 weeks, and then maybe about 2 weeks ago. The funny thing is that around 2 weeks ago is when all of the prop firms started to kind of come out with the volatility and stuff like that. Well, what I had seen is I saw that that gold was acting very different. Very different patterns, very different reaction to unbalanced volume areas. And I spotted that very quickly. And very quickly, I was able to pivot from gold and say, you know what, I'm not going to trade it until I see at least 85% of the setups that I mark up. That's why some people on stream, they probably ask, Rob, why do you keep marking up gold for your setups, but you're not taking any of the setups? Well, I want to see what's working and what's not working. And that's the only way that you can do that is by continuously mapping out levels, unbalanced volume areas, and setups, and see how they work. And then once I see that 80 to 85% of my setups are working, then I can revisit getting back into gold. Then I can revisit the position sizing that maybe I'm limited with some of the prop firms, how I can manage my cash accounts around the volatility in gold. And you make those type of decisions. So, and right now, the market I've been seeing very, very clear. So I made the decision to size up. And the first couple of days is a little tricky when you size up because you take that loss and then you're like, oh man, if I would have just been at my regular position sizing, which was a little bit lower, that loss wouldn't have been so bad. And maybe you take a win and you say, well, shit, if I can make this kind of money, just taking a slight position size, let's jump up to a bigger position size. No, it's all about sample sizing and seeing what your trade results is based on the next 15 trades, the next 30 trades, and see how the pattern starts to evolve. I stayed at this position sizing probably since the beginning of, I want to say maybe in the first or second week of January, right around that contract rollover period. That's when I sized down, and I didn't size back up until yesterday. So, I wanted to see a track record. I wanted to see the setups continuously working, and that's what I've been seeing. So now I have decided to position up, and that's why, the P&L, I told everybody on stream today, you know what, my 1R now is going to be a little bit different than what my 1R was previously. Previously, my trades averaged around 800 to 1,000. Now my trades are going to average somewhere around 1,300 to 1,700, depending on if I'm taking a trade on the ES or the NQ. And it's not that I'm, yes, I'm making more money, but at the same time, what I'm considering what my risk profile is now has been slightly adjusted. So with that being said, let's get into the trades from today, and you'll see them live coming up here as well. My first trade of the morning came at around 9:18, 9:20, and simple trade. We obviously had some downwards pressure in the market. Nothing super crazy, not like it was after this, but stayed super patient around my reactionary bands. It was actually dancing in these bands for quite some time. But and I told everybody on YouTube, what I'm waiting for is a possible sweep of the top and then come back into my band. I was able to see my continuation footprint and jumped into a short here for 4 points on the ES. Beautiful trade. Got me up about $1,000 there in the morning. And then the next trade was on the NQ. Same scenario. I stayed super patient. I mean, we were dancing in these bands, which again are super high reactionary points. We were dancing in the bands, and then I could start seeing constant rejection of this lower band. And I kept saying, you know what, if I can get at least a good signal outside of this band, I would love to take a short. I'm looking for a short. And I finally got my signal right here on the footprint chart. You're looking at just a 1 minute candlestick right now. In fact, I even gave a little mini masterclass. I highly recommend, if you're interested in trading my strategy or how I trade on stream, go take a view of that replay of my live stream today. Towards the end, I would say maybe around 9:30-ish, somewhere in that ballpark. I go probably a good 15 to 20 minute instruction on how I use my footprints for my confirmations on my reversals or my continuation plays. And just took a really nice trade here. In fact, actually went into a little bit of drawdown. Didn't really sweat it too much because Delta really wasn't increasing so much. It did increase here on this candle right here, but I knew I had defense here. I knew we had some trapped buyers at this point, and took it straight short for a good 30 points, and that got my P&L up to about $3,000 for the day. So just a fantastic morning. Look forward to see what the market's going to give us tomorrow. If you haven't, I highly suggest to join me on live stream on YouTube every single morning right at the market open. If you're interested in maybe joining my Signal group, we have a live trading room that starts 30 minutes prior to the market open. We go generally 30 to 45 minutes after the YouTube stream. We're constantly looking for setups, answering my member questions there, and it's really turning out to be a fantastic group of some good winners. So, and if you're interested in any of the prop firms that I've got on the screen, just use code TraderRob. That's all I got for you guys today. Sit back and enjoy the trades. Take care. It was first real sweep right there. Negative delta. I'm going to take a short here on the ES. Let's take a look here. Let's just see if we can get a better price possibly here. A lot of positive delta. Let's see if we could flip that. That was the first real sweep. All right, I'm gonna take a quick stab short here. First sweep of the high with negative footprint with positive delta. My stop, I think, is okay right there. Wow, let's get some continuation here to the downside. I think at best 2 points in the money there. Maybe 3. $3.75, tick away from TP. Nice trade. All right, first one's in the books.